in 1952, I was, I think, 7 years old or so, and there was a building next door that had a hotel upstairs, a pool room downstairs, and an illegal lotto game in the back room. They had different places around the city, and the guy who ran them, he and I got to be friends. So I'd run errands for him. Then one day he decided, hey, what if I gave you a bag full of stuff and you take it to this place? And what he was doing, he was taking the lotto cards and the bets, the money, into a paper bag and had me take it to deliver it, and I got paid for doing that. So.
Did anyone in the family know that you did it?
No, they didn't. It was an illegal lotto. When it was time for me to make my first communion, we had a problem because we didn't have any money. My mother and 4 of us kids lived with my grandmother. My mother had no income. My grandmother owned a 4-unit apartment building. We lived in one of them. The other 3 didn't really bring in that much rent back in those days. But the word got out into the neighborhood that I needed a suit. And 3 different people offered to buy a suit for me. And ultimately, a Greek man who lived about a half a block away from us bought the suit, shirt, tie, shoes, the whole thing. And I was very thankful that he did that. It was very nice. When I first arrived in Germany, I was stationed at Sambach Air Base. I was only there, and I was a second lieutenant. When I was there, they needed someone to replace the communications officer in Stuttgart. The guy in Stuttgart was a major. So they sent a second lieutenant to replace a major in Stuttgart. And the next week after I got there, we went to the field for an exercise, not for a week. Came back, and when we came back, Barry Burton found out that his leave was being canceled because another unexpected field operation was going to happen the following week. And he had already gotten approval to be off, and his mother, one of his cousins, and one of her friends were already in Europe, in Paris, and they were on their way. So when I heard about that, I went and talked to the colonel who was in charge of the unit there and told him it wasn't fair to do that, since he had received approval and his family was already in country. So the colonel said, well, okay, we'll make an exception this time and let him go. Well, when the pilots found out that he was not going to be there in the field, one of them went to him, to the colonel, and told him no, they had to have everybody. So they canceled his leave again. So when I heard that, I went back to the colonel and told him, radio operators don't work for them. They work for me. And I'm telling you, we don't need them. We can get by fine without them. And the colonel said, well, okay, but if we're short a radio operator, you're going to have to operate a radio. And I said, no problem, I can do that. So he got to go, and then they went on a trip for a week. I was gone in the field, and when I got back from the field on Friday, that Saturday morning, I went to the base exchange because they had a restaurant there. Went in there for breakfast, and then I was there eating and reading the Stars and Stripes. This woman comes up to me and she says, hey, you're going to go on the trip with us? And I said, with who? And she points over to the opposite side of the room. There was Barry Burton, the one I had saved his trip for. And I said, yeah, fine, I'll go with you. It was Barry, his cousin, his mother, and a February.
Did you know Perry before that?
I just knew him, as part of the people in the unit.
When did you become friends with him?
From that time on. Yeah, we went on a lot of trips together after that. Freshman year, starting in January, I got very sick in January and carried over into February, so I missed quite a few days of school. And the nun said, "Oh, you're never going to amount to anything." And I kept that in my mind. The next year, I was determined I was going to show her up. So I made the dean's list both semesters. Then next year, and when I graduated, went to the graduation ceremony, I got a 4-year full scholarship. And I said, I wonder what she's thinking about that now.
How did the scholarship come about?
Father Doyle was my sophomore year teacher. And he talked to me one day, and he said, "Have you given any thought to what college you want to go to, and what major you're going to try for?" I said, "No, I haven't given any thought to that. I can't afford to go to college." He says, "Oh, we thought about taking exams, to see if you could win a scholarship." And I said, "No, I never did that." He said, "Well, there's one that you should take up for. It's a National Merit Scholarship exam. It's nationwide." And he set me up to take it. I took it in the junior year, and I scored in the 97th percentile. I was awarded a 4-year college scholarship. They paid for everything. They paid for the tuition, the fees, the books, and what the money was left each semester. They would deposit in the bookstore, and if I needed supplies, I just go there, get what I wanted, and they subtract it from the money that was there. So, a lot,
Yeah.
a lot to say about that.